actually, and there's some Awakenings people in the house here, right? Congratulations, good job. Awesome. After my time at Awakenings, I started volunteering with the Alliance House, and then slowly moved my way over to the main center. And that's basically where I am today. But I can tell you, a big reason why I'm still clean and sober today is because of Together We Can and the family that we have there. I see a ton of people in this audience today that I've made like such close friendships with, and Andrea and Carol Ann are two of those people. You know, everybody knows these two. A big round of applause for Andrea and Carol Ann. Yeah. The thing I love most about Together We Can is simply the fact that every day that I get to come to work, I'm surrounded by other people in recovery. We all have our challenges, we all have our struggles, we all have our egos. But at the end of the day, we love each other and we're there to support each other and respect each other. And I think that the community that we actually get to be a part of is very special. And not everybody gets that chance. As we know, British Columbia is still in an overdose epidemic, if you will.
Right? It's important for us to all remember, if you look to your
left and your right and you
look around this room here today, is that we're all brothers and sisters in recovery, right? We're all here to support each other and love each other. And, you know, if you ever feel like going out and using, just pick up the phone. I know it's hard to do, but just pick up that phone. There's how many people in this room today that would answer that call, right? We recently just, you know, honored all of those people that we lost at Together We Can on August 31st, and there was a large amount of pictures that were up there of guys, friends that never made it back. And and I thank you guys again here today, because you're the ones that are gonna rise up and be able to stay clean, right? So a big round as well. So with that said, Amrit, if you know him, Amrit and I are, he's not here, yeah, but we're starting a alumni committee. Amrit couldn't make it today. So this committee we're going to be putting together to help plan events, a whole bunch of different things. So we're looking for dedicated people who would want to volunteer a few hours a month to help out with that. If you're interested in that, thank you, Frank. If you're interested in that, please, you can come and see me during the meeting or whatever. Get a hold of T-Dub, let us know. We're going to be putting together just a quick dinner and stuff like that in the next couple of weeks, so we can plan out what that looks like exactly. But again, alumni program is very important. We have our weekly meeting as well with Carol Ann on at 7 o'clock Thursdays. A big group room. It's great. Annual fundraiser. It's on October 22nd this year. And what that night is in support of the All Together. So far, since 2000, and we put over 20 people through with that program. At our gala this year, we're going to be recognizing and honoring 4 people's journey, 6 that we put through so far this year. So we really hope that you'll come and join us at the gala, help us to spread awareness again. Fun. It's at the Croatian Cultural Center, and it's a masquerade themed. So it's going to be a bunch of fun. I'm wearing a mask. It's going to be really sweet. But basically, I just want to, again, say thank you so much for everybody who's come out here today. Don't forget about our family programming that we have as well. You know, we have our family education group and our Families Anonymous. So if you have family members that are struggling, please send them our way. Sanaya and I can help. The best part of that program is that your family members can feel like they're connected as well to a recovery community, right? So we really hope that you'll let people know about that. Now, that's all my advertising. All right. Thank you very much for listening to that. We're going to get on with the show here today. So we have 2 really awesome speakers. They're both TWC alumni. They both have wicked, powerful stories and are really living a life of recovery today. So we're going to be excited to hear from them. Carol Ann's going to be also coming up here and emceeing with me, and she's going to introduce those speakers and kind of take it over from here. So without further ado, Carol Ann, come on up.
I'm Carol Ann. I'm an alcoholic. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Is that better? So I started working at Together We Can about 15 years ago. And I'll tell you, it's the best job I've ever had in my life. I love it so much. And for me, a huge part of it is the alumni, because that's where you see the results of all the hard work that people do at Together We Can. When we see you guys thriving, becoming your authentic self, and just see the sparkle come back to your eyes and your skin start to glow, like that is the joy of my job. Like, that's why I love being with all the alumni so much. It's why I love doing the alumni meeting. Um, I was just saying to Andrea, I think we started the alumni meeting about maybe 6 years ago. And it was Don Presland that started it with me. I'm sure a lot of you remember him. In fact, his funeral was right in this room here. So he and I started the alumni meeting, and it was just so amazing having him along there with me. But our alumni group has really grown, and it's been really fantastic, but it kind of got a little bit sidetracked through COVID. So I'm hoping that you guys will start coming back to alumni again. The alumni meeting's kind of cool because it's a little different from when you're in first stage and second stage. It's kind of when you get out of that bubble, and the problems get a little bit different. So it's really great when guys can help each other at the meeting and maybe get together afterwards for coffee and stuff. The other thing that I think is really important about alumni is that, you have a responsibility once you're an alumni to help the newcomer too. So when you come back to T-Dub, you're showing the new guys that it works, and they really appreciate that. They talk to me about it afterwards. I met that guy. Like, it's really important. So it's important for you to give back to them, and it is part of recovery that we give back, right? And it's important for both you and for them. It gives them hope, and it teaches you to help other people. So it's just an amazing thing. The other thing about being an alumni at TW, you can come back anytime and sit in on any of the classes, come to any of the things that we're doing. Once you go through TW, you're part of our family, and you're always welcome to come back. And lots of guys do, and it's great when you guys come back and sit in on my classes and stuff. I just love it. So I'm really happy to see so many people here today, and let's keep the alumni going really strong. It'll be great if we get some other events, like Stephen said, getting things going too. In the meantime, what we're going to do first is we have two wonderful speakers, and then we're going to take a break. And after the break, I'm just going to open up the floor to whoever wants to come up and just share a little bit about your life in recovery. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up my friend Essi. He's going to share a little bit with us. He has quite an amazing story, and I'm so excited to hear him talk. Thank you, Essi.
Hi everyone, my name is Essi. I am non-alcoholic. Among a lot of other things, thank you for asking me to come and share about my experiences, strength, and hope. And I was talking to a few friends earlier that they said like they've been here like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's brought some memories. I've been to TWCB 5 times. I like it so much that I keep coming back. It's like the food was good. And so, I don't know, like, how long do I have? Please give me something that you have 2-3 minutes so I can finish that. Huh? More than that. Okay. Little bit about my story. We all have a story, and our stories is valuable and important. But I believe going through my journey, I realized that my story is not belong to me, and my pain and suffering and the things that I've been through is not belongs to me. And he talks about in promises that no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we see how our experience benefit others. And it was like 25 years ago. I've been living in this basement suite that I haven't paid for a couple months, and I had this girlfriend that really supported me. I was like, I had no money. I was I was destructive. Let's put it. I was like a tornado. Just whoever would come to my life, I was destroyed. I don't know if you can relate. Family, friends, girlfriends, relation, anything. I was just destroying. And then she came and said, "Essi, I cannot do this anymore." I don't know if you can relate to that. If you have some people that they said, and she said, "Essi, I can't do this anymore." And and she started crying and she said, "Please get help." I said, "What should I do?" And she said, "I don't know." And she just took off. So at that time, I didn't know, and I've been just crying. And I pick up the phone and I dialed zero, and the operator. And I said, "I have problem with drinking and drugging, and I don't know what to do, and I'm crying." And this nice lady, she said, "Don't worry, hon, I give you a detox number." I said, "What's detox?" And she said, "You will find out." So let me tell you something about where I came from. So when I was a little baby, my mom used to, when I was like 6 months old or crying, my mom used to put opium in the milk, give it to me so it calm me down so I won't cry. So my whole life, I thought everything is in my blood. So they're going to take me to detox. That's what I thought. They do a blood transfusion and they're going to change like blood and I'm going to be okay. And honestly, that's what I thought. But I had no clue what's going on. So we went to this detox, and then they said you got to go to treatment. I went to treatment. I had to because I had no place to live. Anybody can relate to this? There's nothing left, no place to live, and I went to this treatment called Miracle Valley, and I was there first 2 days, and then I saw these steps, and I saw the word God, and I just wanted to throw up. I hated God. And I tell you why. We all have prejudice about God. See, as you can tell with my accent, I'm not from here. Before age of 5, I find out that I have 2 mothers. Before age of 9, I was physically, emotionally, sexually abused. Age of 13, I was brainwashed to go to in Iran-Iraq war on a landmine to blow myself up. I saw my friend dying left and right in front of me. Something came to me and I didn't want to die. I couldn't go back and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I changed my mind." In the name of God. I pulled up my AK-47, put it in my left hand, and I shot myself. So now after years, and so what happened, the reason I tell you, my physical wound healed after 3 months, but I had no idea the impact of psychological effect has on me. As a result of that, age of 4, my first drink in my cousin's house, they offered me a drink, and I took a drink, and something happened. All the anxiety, guilt, shame, remorse, everything that I felt just like melted away. I find my solution. But just remember, I'm in a country that in an early revolution, drinking is against the law. Drinking against the law, and you can't drink. But I was living this 2 double life, and I was drinking all the time. They got me into the forced marriage, age of 15. Beautiful lady, but I really didn't love her. And from Iranian government, they said, "Okay, we're going to take you to a bunch of you to Syria, Damesh for prayer." And my family said, "Essi, you're destroying your life. Just go a couple weeks. It's going to be good for you." And I really wanted to go, and I went there, but I already experienced the alcohol in me. So guess what happened while I was in Syria, Damesh? Everybody go to these prophets and they start praying. I saw a bar, and I make excuse that I'm not going to that for a prayer. And I told myself that I'm going to go there and just take 1 or maximum 2 drinks. And I really meant it. Because remember, if they would have found out that I'm drinking alcohol, it would be like I would be dead. So I went to this bar and I take 1 drink, and guess you know what happened next? Phenomenon of craving. I didn't know at the time. Nothing could stop me to take the next drink. So I took the next drink. Guess what happened? I got drunk. I started fighting with this bartender and the waitress. And the next thing you know, I'm in a police station. I couldn't speak Arabic, so they had to be translator. And guess who was the translator? The person was in charge of our group. And I'm feeling shame, guilt. Everybody saw that I was drinking. And at that time, I'm talking about almost 40 years ago, 30 some years ago. It was bad. And they sent me back to Iran. I had a friend, they said, Essi, you're in a deep shit. You got to get out. So what happened? I escaped from Iran to Istanbul, from Istanbul to East Germany. From East Germany, I went to West Germany. I became a refugee in a refugee camp. 2.5 years. I was drunk every day. And I thought, you know what? I thought there's something wrong with me. I really couldn't put my finger on. I just thought I'm the worst, I'm the unluckiest person in the world. I don't know if you felt like that in your life. Why things happen to me? So, long story short, I'm in this treatment center. I came to Canada in 1988. That's a completely different story how I got here. One of my friends was here in Toronto. He said, Essi, why don't you come to Canada? I said, how? He said, send me a couple of pictures. So I sent him a couple of pictures. Three weeks later, I got this passport, Jose Antonio Gracie or something, a Spanish passport with my picture on it. So I bought the ticket and I came to Canada as a refugee. And that was 1988. So I'm in a treatment center, and I had no place to stay. I stayed. A month later, I am in that condition that I told everybody I would never, ever touch another drink or drug again. And if you would have come and do a, lie detector, I would pass 110%. Guess what happened after I left the treatment center? I picked up. I was in the Maine and Hastings drinking and using drugs. Another 8 months. Then I went to my second treatment center, King Heaven. I came back and I stayed 5.5 years sober, my friends, 5.5 years sober. But if you would have come and tell me, Essi, can you describe what you're suffering? I could not tell you. I stayed in these rooms just by fear. I built businesses and a lot of money at the time, 5.5 years sober. Instead of going home, at this time I have like 20 employees, hundreds of $1,000s in the bank, no problem. I got in my truck, instead of going home, suddenly talks about in our book, the serious insanity. If you would ask me 10 minutes before that you're going to go destroy your life and you're going to be homeless and you have nothing to eat in 6 months, I would tell you you're a liar. That's exactly what happened. As a result of that, I've been to 17 treatments and 29 detoxes, psych ward, homelessness, jails, institution, until 8 years, 3 months ago. I'm in this place called Cobalt. I just missed my son's wedding. My sister called me and said, Essi, you haven't been a father to your children, and he's getting married. I said, I have no money. I'm no good. She said, I will send you. She sent me $3,000. I went, bought the ticket, packed my bag. I'm in a Cobalt, ready to go, 3 hours before the flight. There's a point I'm saying that to you guys. 3 hours before, I was nervous. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna have like 2 drinks and some of the other accessories that I was using. And guess what happened? Phenomenon of craving happened. I didn't care. Nothing could stop me. And I picked up. And from my home, everybody drove 500 kilometers to come pick me up in a capital city of Tehran, in Iran, Tehran. And I didn't have the guts to call them and say, hey, I can't do it. I'm not coming. And I cried all night. I got to the point that I fell down to my knees and I been bawling and I said, I don't know what you call yourself. God, Jesus, universe, Allah, creator, whatever you call yourself. Either kill me or save me. I came back to the next day. A couple of my friends, they came pick me up, and my mission since then been to stay sober and and help other people. So I can tell you a few points that I did and help me, brothers and sisters. I'm an alcoholic. What that means, I didn't know I have a disease. I had to forget about everything that I knew, all these treatment centers that I used to go, because I don't know about you. I'm in treatment center for a month, and I know everything. You know, a month before that, I'm dying, I'm begging Stacy and people, please take me. This time it's going to be different. Guess what happened? 3 weeks later, the food is not good. The roommate is making noise. Anybody can relate to that? We forget the memory and suffering and humiliation where we were like 3 weeks ago. And that's only happening to people like us because we're suffering from something called disease of alcoholism. So I dive into the solution. I shut my mouth and follow and got a sponsor. And you know what? And I did a set of steps and I had a lot of trauma, something that we really don't talk about it. You know, I had to go for 5 years. Every week I had to go to see a trauma coach, trauma counseling. And I had a home group, and I followed direction. Here's the thing. Doesn't matter. It's not that, and every time that I came, I said, you know what? Oh, I know what not to do. Every time, I know what not to do. I didn't know nothing about recovery. And here's the thing. I finish, I don't know how long I have, but I finish with this. The people, I have 2 sons in Iran and family and everybody. And I had to give that desperation and loneliness and wanted to kill myself, bring me to the rooms of detoxes and treatment centers and Alcoholics Anonymous or NA or whatever. But that's not going to be enough. What happened is I'm 3 months sober. I want to get everything that I lost, the business, the money, the girlfriend, everything back. And guess what happened? Who's coming back? It's me. I keep coming back because I didn't really dive into solution. I had to look ahead in a year. I know it's a day at a time, but in my head, I had to really looking ahead to say, what's it going to be look like if I'm a year sober and I have my kids around? How does it going to look like if I'm a couple years sober and some of you have kids and want to go to their graduation? How does it going to look like if I'm going to be a great son and make my mom or my dad proud? How that's going to look like, because I have to, this is all about emotion for me. I had to attach emotion to my action because what's something to pulls me into whatever that I needed to do. And as a result, I'm not going to tell you what I done. I have an amazing life. I traveled all over the world. I wrote a book. I did a TED Talk. All these things has nothing to do with recovery. What it has to do with power greater than myself. What's happening is from me to that power, there was so much shit inside, resentment, guilt, remorse, excess, and all these things. It was plugging this connection between me and that power. So what the steps did for me, it removes these blocks, these shit that really kept me, and now I have not every day, I have challenges. Here's another news that I'm going to tell you. Life is not going to be fair. Doesn't matter how long we are sober, what we do in Alcoholics Anonymous or in Narcotics Anonymous, does not matter. Life will throw shit at me, either I like it or not. The only thing is different today for me is how I approach it, my perception, what I'm going to do about it. I'm not a victim anymore. As long as I feel that like, poor me, this happened to me, I'm not going to recover. And thank you so much for allowing me to share a little bit of my story. Love you all, and thanks a lot. Love you.
Thank you, Essi. It was wonderful to hear your story again. Such a powerful story. Well, we have another speaker that I'd like to come up next, and it's Mike. Would you like to come up?
I'm Mike, I'm an addict. How do you follow that up, eh? Just another hand for Essi. Huh. I wasn't in Iran. I wasn't in a refugee camp. I didn't have the life he had. The beautiful thing about recovery that I've learned is we all have different lives, and we all have trauma, and whatever form of trauma we have, it's ours and it's real and it's legit and it needs to be talked about. I'm super nervous, but that's okay. I had a difficult but easy life growing up. I'm from the island. I grew up in Nanaimo. I'm Indo-Canadian, in case you can't tell. But my parents worked 9 to 5, did everything for us. Always wanted us to get an education. I had all the benefits of life. Had all the perks that I wanted. The one thing I didn't have, and what I struggled with, was I didn't have an identity, and I didn't feel like I belonged. Me growing up was, whether it was teachers, parents, uncles, coaches, whoever it was there's something wrong with you. And that was a common theme. Like, I was always told, there's something wrong with you. Why can't you just be normal? And I didn't know what normal was. Recovery is a beautiful thing. Normal is this, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be what everyone tells it is. It's this. And accepting who I am as Mike Manhas. That's just it. That was the biggest secret I've learned in recovery, is I just have to be me. I can stop being someone else. I struggled probably at about 15. I think I started struggling with addiction. The very first time I drank, I blacked out. I remember going to school the next day and people telling me what they saw me here, there, everywhere, and what I did, and I was like, "What? No, I wasn't there." And they're like, "No, you were there, and this is what you did." That continued and quickly escalated to drugs in a very quick fashion. Back in the 90s, drugs were really expensive, and I couldn't afford them, so I started selling drugs. For me, I never felt like I belonged or I was good at anything. And the first time I picked up dope and I started selling dope, I felt like all of a sudden I belonged. People all of a sudden wanted to talk to me. People wanted to hear my story. People wanted me in their group. I mattered all of a sudden. And to me, that meant like, okay, maybe this is my calling. I found something, and I finally belong. And so I quickly latched onto selling dope and thought that was going to be my key to life. As most addicts, I don't know if anyone here has had the experience. If you try and sell drugs and you use drugs, it doesn't go very well. My first experience at selling drugs lasted about 6 months. I used a whole bunch of somebody else's dope. Didn't look too well, and life looked pretty scary. And I moved to. I thought, you know what? The problem isn't me selling dope. The problem isn't the dope. The problem is all these people around me. They're all a bad influence, and they're fucked. So I better get out of here. So I got a plane ticket and I moved to Toronto. And I thought, okay, I need to be in a big city where there's big people like me. Another secret about me, or it's not a secret, is I'm an egomaniac with low self-esteem. I want you to think I'm the greatest thing in the world, but in my head, my voice tells me, you piece of shit. You suck. You don't know how to do anything right. How did you fuck that up? Remember when you didn't ask that girl out? Remember when you asked that girl out? Remember when you didn't score that goal? Remember when you were a fucking loser? Excuse me. There's no kids here, are there? Excuse my language. But that's what my brain would tell me. But then I would walk into a room and I'd be like, do you see me? Do you see me now? And dope gave me that. And so at 17, I moved to Toronto. My secret to cleaning up was when I came to TWC, and like I learned quickly and I wasn't happy with it, was that you had to be abstinent from everything. And I was like, well, I can't. And so my secret as a youth was that, or not even a youth, I used to always say I was young. Forever, my addiction history was that if I could stop, I'm using a lot of this type of dope right now. If I stop using the dope, I can drink and I can smoke weed and I'll be fine. It's this other stuff, and it's you guys that's the problem, not this other stuff. This other stuff I can handle. So I would move to Toronto, or I'd move to China, I moved to Korea, I moved to Australia. In 20 years, I moved all over the globe trying to try and find a solution. And the secret about my solution was that everywhere I went, I kept finding me. And everywhere I went, I found myself out there. I found you guys. Except today, when I go anywhere I go in the world, when I find you guys, I find people in recovery who share the same strength, experience, and hope. Back then, I found the people that were just as desperate as me, just as lonely as me, just as confused as me, just as messed up as me, and looking for a solution in one another. And so I'd always find myself in myself and in others. And my problem would, same idea, like I'd find the problem everywhere I went. I relate to Essi when he was talking about in Iran, you can't, like in China, if you use anything, they shoot you. And I remember barricading my doors, getting high, getting paranoid, and waiting for the army to come in and going, this is fucked, I can't do this anymore, and then picking up more dope. And then doing that over and over and over again to the point that I probably left I used to teach at a university there, and I had the best job in the world. I worked 12 hours a week, 4 days a week, got paid disgusting money, and I found dope. But I could only get dope once a month. And I was like, this, and so I did it for 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, fourth, the fifth month, I was like, I can't do this. I need it every day. It took off like it always takes off. And I ended up quitting the job, moving back home so I could go on a tear. Addiction, yeah, like I spent 21 years trying to figure out how to use normally. I didn't have the secret. If any of you think there's a secret to using normally, I'll leave you my phone number. You can share that with me because I'll probably go back out. But the reality is that's not going to happen. I don't think anyone has that answer. I've done enough research for all of us, and I'm sure any person in one of these seats has done enough research to prove that theory wrong too. There is no way to use normally when you're like us. I heard a great saying in the recovery rooms one day is I was born has everyone heard the cucumber pickle thing? I was born a cucumber, and I turned into a pickle, and then I spent the rest of my life trying to be a cucumber again. And if you don't know what that is, has anybody eaten pickled eggs? Pickled eggs for me I thought they would be I like hard-boiled eggs. I thought they're delicious, and then I bought a big jar from Costco of pickled eggs, and they're disgusting. They're absolutely, like, they're pickled, and they've got this strong taste, but I had a huge jar of it. And so I spent a week either trying to boil them, wash them, put them in the freezer. I tried everything to get that pickle out of it so I could eat a hard-boiled egg. I didn't want to throw them out. I was the same. I tried everything to change who I was so that I could use normally, and I couldn't figure it out. I didn't want recovery at all. I don't know if anyone relates to that. I absolutely did not want recovery. I came to recovery because the police and the courts had mandated that I get clean. My last 3-year tear, I started selling again. Obviously, every so often I'd start selling again. I was selling a whole pile of dope. It got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I actually figured out how to sell dope, but I didn't figure out how to stop using. So it clashed a lot. And at the very end of my using, I had the North Island and South Island SWAT team surrounding a house. They came to my house to kick it in. I knew they were coming. I ran into a house next door, jumped into the house next door, barricaded myself in. Someone told them I was in there. I was surrounded for about 4 hours. They were doing everything in their power to get me out. Finally, they got a warrant to get me out. They got me out. Things weren't looking. That was the third time in 8 months I'd been busted. They were asking for 6 to 8 years jail time. And if you can't tell, I'm too pretty to be in jail. So, truth be told, I didn't want to be in jail. By that point, in order to beat my addiction, I had changed girlfriends. I bought a house. I bought vehicles. I got my master's in education. I was teaching. I had done everything I think I could possibly do to change who I was. And yet still, I kept finding myself. I kept finding my addiction, and I kept using. I had stopped teaching, become this big drug dealer, life sucked. I remember waking up on mornings and going, I can't do this anymore. If I fell asleep, it wasn't because I went to sleep. It's because my body shut down. That was the only time I could ever fall asleep. And when my body shut down, I would wake up, and I wouldn't wake up like, you know what, maybe I should get something to eat, or I should make a cup of coffee, or what's the day hold? It was like, oh my fucking God, I fell asleep. And I would go straight to the cameras to see if there was anybody outside. Is someone going to rob me? Are the cops out there? Is something going on? And I was in this dark cloud of paranoia and self-hatred where like it was the worst thing in the world to wake up every morning. And then I'd wake up, realize I'm still alive, and then I'd go into the shower and say, you know what, I think I need to change today. I've got all this stuff behind me. I should be teaching. I should be doing something positive. And so, and there was days, and I could admit this today, it was like I'd be in tears in the shower going, my life sucks. How do I change this? Fuck, I don't know how to change this. Someone please tell me how to change this. People would tell me there's solutions. I'd be like, no, not those ones. How do I change this though? Like, I just don't want to feel this way anymore. How come all you guys are happy? Why am I the only person who's not happy in this world? What did I do wrong? Can someone please give me that answer? And I really believed that every single person in the world was happy except me. And so I would struggle. And the biggest thing I struggled with was how to be Mike Manhas. Like, I didn't want to be myself. I'd fantasize about finding the right girl. I was 38 years old. I don't know how to skate. Not at all. But I was going to play for the Canucks next year. I was going to be their starting center. And I would drive around thinking about how I'm going to score the Stanley Cup winning goal. I'm 38 years old. I don't skate. It's not going to happen. I live in this fictitious world of like, this is what could happen rather than this is what's here. Thank God I was mandated to go to treatment. At treatment, there's a few of you out here for sure, especially if you're in one of the main treatment centers right now where you did what I probably did. Maybe not, but I went in there going, I'm going to be a dick when I start. I'm going to be a dick partway through. Then I'm going to show them how I can transform. I'm going to show them how great I am. I'm going to get a letter out of them. And then I'm going to go to the judge and say, see this letter? I am transformed and changed. You need to not send me to jail so I can go back and sell dope. And that was my goal. And there might be someone in here who's doing that right now. The funny thing is, the people inside the treatment center who were there to help me, including my fellow addicts and alcoholics who I was there with, they can read through all that in one way or another, or they just sit there with you. And they gave me the time to, the very first time I shared my story, and we all get to share a story. The very first time I shared my story about what was going on in my life was the very first time I could start breathing again. And I don't know if anybody's gone through this. For 20 some odd, for 30, I was 38 when I went to treatment. For 38 years, each year, it felt like a brick or like 100 pounds was put on my chest. And then another 100, and then another 100. And I would walk around like with so much anxiety and so much stress and so much hatred. And I didn't know what to do with it. It was all the dark secrets that I kept holding and all the light secrets, just holding all this shit in and not knowing what to do with it. When the very first time I shared my story and said, Mike, I'm Mike, I'm an addict. All of a sudden, a bunch of weight got lifted off my chest. I could start to breathe again. It wasn't easy, but I started to breathe a little bit. Treatment was a great place for me to get 6 weeks clean. But that's all it was for me. It might be the answer for some of you, but for me, I couldn't. If I did that, it wouldn't work, and it didn't work. I got out. I lived in Victoria at Together We Can Recovery House. I moved in. There was people there that thought they knew better than me, but I'm pretty smart, and I'd like to tell you all how smart I am. And if I won't tell you in words, I'll act like I'm smarter than you. That's who I used to be, and so I was pretty pompous, and I was full of myself, and as they were telling me what to do, how to do it, I was like, you guys are all fucking idiots. There's no way what you're saying is going to work. I don't need you. Someone else, I had a bright idea. Someone else with 90 days said, I've got a house. You should come move in with me. I'm like, that's a great idea. We're going to live together and do this right. We don't need all these people. These guys are idiots. And so I moved out. 2 weeks later, I was organizing a 10-pound drug deal and thinking, you know what? I'm just going to get the money and it's going to be okay. And that's what I kept telling. Half my brain told me. And the other half my brain said, I'm going to get this money, get a bunch of hookers, get a bunch of drugs, and just go crazy. That's what the other half of my brain told me. And that's what I wanted to do. And I was going to convince everyone else that was saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this deal. I only told about 2 people. It might not be good for you. I was like, no, I got this. I've got this. I've always had this. I've been to treatment. I've got the answer. And God works in mysterious ways. I'm going to rewind a bit. The very first day I got out of treatment, God works, and I only say this because God does work in so many mysterious ways. The very first day I got out of treatment, they gave me 5 days to go home and come back. And I went home, and my brother, who was also in the same shit that I'm in, was in jail. And he called me and he said, hey, these guys broke into my house when I got popped. You need to go there and pick up all my stuff. It's in this house, blah, blah, blah. You know where it is. Go get it. I was like, yeah, I just got out of treatment. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. And then he called back a second time. And then he called back a third time. And the third time he said, you know what? If the shoes are reversed, I'd do it for you. I said, okay, I'm going to go get your stuff. So I got in my car, I drive down to this guy's house, and I'm ready to go do whatever I got to do to get this stuff back. And I'm pounding on the door. The guy's not answering. I know whose house it is. I check the door's open. I open the door and I'm yelling, Jerry. Jerry's not answering. I'm like, Jerry's not answering. I'm like, what the fuck? The lights are on, the TV's on. I look down the hallway. I flip on the hallway light. I start walking down the hallway, and this only happens to us. I see a pair of legs, and I find a dead body. That was my very first day out of treatment, where I was already thinking of going back to my old life. I find a dead body. I call 911. Or first thing I do is I pull my sleeve up and I start wiping my prints off, and I start running. And as I'm running down the driveway, I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. Call 911. So I call 911. The cops show up. One cop car shows up and he's like, oh, and they know me. They go, oh, Shapinder Manhas. What are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm the one who called 911. And he goes, could you give me a second? And he starts to walk away, and he calls his superior. And next thing you know, there's 4 cars and I'm being interrogated. Instead of spending 5 days at home, which probably was a dumb idea to begin with, God was telling me, go back to the treatment center. At that time, the treatment center was saying, Mike, you need to go to TWC. You need to go to our recovery house. If you don't go to this recovery house, you're probably going to die. And I'm like, well, I own a house. I've already done like 6 of the steps. Like, I'm halfway there. I'm pretty much cured. What do you need? I'm not going to live with 13 other guys. That's fucked. I'm 38. And they're like, no, you really need to go there. And I was not going to go there. And then I find this dead body. And so I actually rushed back to the treatment center, and I'm like, okay, maybe you guys are right. Something's not right here. Like, what are the odds that you find a dead body? I didn't know it was my higher power at the time. You found 3? These things continued to happen. And that drug deal I'm talking about, I organized it, got it all set. People are coming up to get it. And the guy that I'm organizing with is the clown that I'm living with is the gentleman I'm living with. And he was making it all up. So all the fantasies I was about to go live, I couldn't do because the guy was making it up. And I had to realize I was absolutely broken at that point and going, I have no money. I used to have a profession. I'm broke. I have no future. What am I going to do now? And I remember having to call Trevor. I don't know if you guys know Trevor from TWC. And this was like literally not even a month after I told him he was an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. He should get fired. And they should have someone like me running TWC. And I had to beg him I didn't even have to beg him. I said, can I talk to you? And he came and took me for lunch. And together we can, if you're all alumni, we are blessed to be a part of this organization. This goes on and on and on throughout my entire recovery. As I reach out, he shows up, he takes me for lunch. I can't even afford lunch at this point. And I'm just bawling, going, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I'm done. Can I move back to your house? And he came there to tell me to go. You can ask him. He goes, I came there to tell you to go fuck yourself. That there's no way we're not taking you back. And he goes, and then I saw you, and you looked like you needed help. You were broken, and you were reaching out, and together we doesn't leave you out on the street. When you reach out, we reach back. And he did that, and he let me back in the house. So I'm going to take 2 more minutes. At that point, I was absolutely broken. I move into this house. I'm looking at myself going, I've got a master's in education. I've got a degree in political science, a degree in history. and I've blown it all up. I've got a criminal record. I'm never going to get a job again. What am I going to do? I've got no money in my pocket. So the first job I apply for is to wash cars in the rain at Toyota. And when I came into treatment, I was making $2,000 a day. When the first job I took was $10 an hour, and I accepted it. And I was going to actually go wash cars in the winter. And recovery again, thank God I had a sponsor, because my sponsor said, Mike, that's a dumb idea. I was like, but I need a job. And he's like, no, that's a really dumb idea. If you go, you're not going to wash cars out there. My first response, because it's instinctual, was my sponsor was white at the time. And he goes, you're racist. You don't want me to have a job. You don't want me to get ahead. You're putting me down. And that's my brain trying to fight against everything that's positive for me. And he said, no, actually, I'm not racist. I love you. If you go take that job today, your first paycheck's going to be about $400 or $600 for working 80 hours in the rain. You're going to say, I've made $2,000 a day the day I got here. You're going to quit. You're going to go back out and you're going to use. And I don't think it's a good idea for you. And I said, okay, fine. And I was reluctant. I went back and I turned the job down and I came home. There's a gentleman named Jordan. I don't know if he still works for TWC. Jordan called and said, and Stacy, and said, we think you should be the manager of our house. I didn't know how I was going to pay my next month's rent. God showed up for me. God showed up through some people actually hear God. I don't hear God. I never hear God directly. I hear God through you. Every time I hear God, it comes through one of you guys. And I got a job running Together We Can Recovery House. I was the manager there, and I had a free place to live, free food. And a week later, I got a call to say, you should do some advertising. We'll help you with this other job. Everything snowballed from there. Recovery's been such a beautiful thing for me. I don't apply for jobs. Jobs just show up. Some of them I apply for, but majority of them just show up. And 3.5 years ago, they gave me my teaching license back. Recovery for me is what you just keep doing the next right thing, and God will keep providing the next right thing for you. I thought I loved teaching, and I do, but kids can be a lot. And so my next passion is I want to work in recovery. I want to help people out. So God opened up another door, and we started a thing called with Stephen, David, Stacy, all you guys. Again, TWC showing up. I said, I want to do something called Soberfest. I want to raise money, and I want to send people to treatment. They're like, here you go, have a bed. Give away a bed to someone. Together, no matter what I do, where I do it, every time I reach out to you guys, or anytime and I know this will go true for everybody in this room. If I reach out to one of you, you're going to be there for me. So like, Essi said, reach out. Like if there's anything you could take from this, I know I babbled for a while, but if there's anything you could take from this, if you reach out, Together We Can, the alumni, the people, all of us, we're a team, we're a family, we're one, we will reach back. And when you reach out, when I did it, I thought I was a burden, but the reality was I was giving someone a gift. And when you reach out, if you reach out to me, you give me a gift that can never be replaced. I can't stay clean unless you give me that gift. And so that's one of the greatest things of recovery is when someone does reach out, someone does call and says, hey man, I'm struggling. 9 out of 10 times when that phone call comes, I'm struggling more than you are. And you get me out of my own shit and you get me clean for another day. It's such a gift. I've talked enough, and I'm just happy to be here, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was really great to hear your story. Well, I think we'll take about a 10-minute break and then we'll come back. And then whoever wants to come up and share a few words, you can come up and share. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We're going to come back from the break now. One thing I forgot to do before we got started was a land acknowledgement. And so I just wanted to take a quick minute to do that. We would like to recognize that the land that we work, play, and recover on is the unceded territory of the Coast Salish people, including the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. So we'd like to just honor that and say thank you for allowing us to be here. Now, what we're going to do is, I'm doing the raffle right now, am I? Perfect. You got your name in there? Did everybody get their name in for the raffle? All right, we're giving away a couple watches. Maybe we should give it a few minutes? The things are over there because now the box is way over here. So we're giving away some watches. Anyways, we'll just wait a couple of minutes. But I think one. And I'll go through, and if I find double ones, I'll come and repossess your watch. What we'll do then is we will invite some people up to share, and I guess we'll just do the raffle afterwards, towards the end at 3 o'clock, because we only have like 15, 20 minutes left, I think, right? Okay, awesome. So, Carol Ann, did you want to come up here and lead the sharing thing? I'm going to take the raffle box back over there.
Well, we're very blessed to have Esse's book. He brought us some copies of his book. And it's the most amazing book. I've read it already. It's wonderful. I actually just got another copy because I'm going to read it again. But I think the way I'm going to give this out is I'm going to go with the people who have the least sobriety. So I got 3 books to give out. Is there anybody here in their first week of sobriety? Come on up. I've only got 3 though. One, 2. You're not in your first week. Oh, where did he put it? I don't know. Okay, I got 1 more. Okay, come on up. It's the most amazing books. You guys will love it. Perfect. Yay. All right, so now we're just going to open up the floor. And if you want to come up and just say a few words, feel free to come and do that. Don't be shy. Here, okay.
I'm Brody. I'm an addict. It's good to be in this lovely Lower Mainland. I'm originally from Victoria. I started using when I was about 11, 12 years old. I had a pretty rough childhood growing up, a lot of family issues, and quite a few members of my family struggle with addiction and alcoholism. And I was lucky enough to progress in that disease, and I'm trying this time around in my recovery to really appreciate, what I'm doing for myself. I've spent a lot of time in recovery in the past, dwelling on the things that I haven't done or that I'm, the milestones that I haven't reached. And this time I'm just really, really trying to ground myself and understand that at the moment I'm doing the best that I can. I've been clean since the 16th of January. Thank you. And, I've been battling this for about 10 years. I would say the first time I went to treatment was 15. I'm now 25. And it's been a battle. But I don't think I would change it for the world. I think I'm a better person than I was when I started using. And I strive to be a better person every day. I got a beautiful 8-year-old daughter at home that I am now a part of her life because of recovery. I'm able to spend time with friends and family and be present. And that wouldn't be possible without the program and all the treatment centers that I went to, including TWC. I'm really grateful to be here today. I made an effort to come support TWC and see some familiar faces, and it feels really good. So I'm just grateful to be here, and I appreciate all of you. Thanks.
All right. Anybody else want to come up and share? Riley? Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Riley. I'm an addict. Um, yeah, my journey with addiction started, I guess, back when I was getting into high school. I was bullied pretty bad, and I figured make friends with the kids who were bigger and tougher and doing all the bad stuff. So um, I progressed pretty quickly in my disease, going into harder drugs quite a young age. But I was able to, stabilize and keep going what I thought was a manageable life. Everyone else around me could tell that um, I was definitely struggling with what I was going through. But I figured, living paycheck to paycheck or spending your whole paycheck and having your parents pay for your rent was just normal. Um, it, by the time I was, 30, 32 or 33, I progressed on to even harder drugs and using intravenously. And that's pretty much when it all started to come undone. Um, my work started to notice, and they told me I needed to go get some help. Um, my solution was to just find another job. Um, so I did, but my mom was pretty adamant on that I should probably get into treatment. So I thought I could, fool everybody and go for the 60 days that I was mandated to, and hit a bunch of dope at home, and thought I could fake my way through this and then come out using on the other side. Um, about 3 weeks in, at T-Dub there, I still hadn't unpacked my bags. I was threatening to leave every night, and Jesse Kiss, actually, I owe a lot of my sobriety to him, because he just said to me, I opened up and told him my plan and all the stuff was where all the stuff was hidden. And he goes, well, if you actually care about this, you should probably call someone and let them know. So I did, you know, started putting the work in, started realizing that life is a lot better being clean. So yeah, it took me, it was a slow start, but you know, I didn't think I'd even be able to get through the 60 days. But when it got close to 60 days, I realized that it wasn't enough time. So I added another 30, and then I added another 30 on that. So yeah, yesterday was my 90-day milestone. Thanks. I spent most of my time at the main center, and I moved to AMR, all my relations. So I feel like I got kind of the best of both worlds there. I got a lot of step-based recovery in the beginning, and now I'm working on my cultural side. And I just can't extend enough gratitude to this place and everybody that works there, and of course, all the guys that I've been going through this treatment with. It's a great life, and I just really appreciate everyone and all that. So thank you very much. No stuffed animals this time.
No stuffed animals, no. That's at the center. You want to come up? Okay. There's Frankie.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Frank, and I'm an addict. I've been at TWC for 7 months now, since March 22nd of this year. So I'll get a little bit into my story. I grew up on the street a lot with my siblings. Both my parents were addicts and criminals, so I didn't really have them. I've been in addiction since the 8 years old. I'm 21 now. I've been in recovery since I was 16. I've been in and out of centers, but I've never had an experience like I have at TWC. And how I came across TWC was I had my second son on March 1st of this year. And when I was at the hospital, my sponsor was actually there, Stephen Hall. And he goes to a program called FIR, which stands for Family in Recovery. And so he'd come on Mondays and Saturdays and speak to the guys and ask them about if they want recovery to have a better life. And, at first, I looked at the program, but I didn't really want to do it. So I kind of pushed him off for a bit. But then I came to the realization that if I don't do this and get my recovery, I can't be there for my kids. And I didn't want to do to them what was done to me with no parents. And so I called the intake. I got myself into TWC, came to the center. I stayed in the detox house for about 5 days. I moved to another house there, lived there for 28 days. Then I went to a 1.5 house, which is a house off the center. And so you live off the center, but you go there for classes 5 days a week, and then you go on the weekends and you hang out with Carol Ann. I got to thank her a lot for my recovery. I mean, I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Carol Ann. I've got a lot of issues in my past that I dealt with, and without those groups that she does on Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday, I probably wouldn't have been able to accept most of it. So I stayed there for in the 3 months in the 1.5, and then I volunteered for a bit. I had a slip up a couple months ago, so I went back to primary to a whole nother house that they own. I did a month there. I came back to the center, did a month there, and now I'm on the maintenance program. And so I get to work now Monday to Friday with the maintenance guys, which is pretty cool. And I think my biggest accomplishment with TWC is before I came in, the ministry wanted to take my kids away and didn't want to let me see them. I was, or I still am, I'm facing charges in court for street racing and drug-related incidents. And thanks to TWC, I get to go see my kids every week, once a week for 2 hours. I get to hang out with them and take them out. I get to extend my court is until next summer, but they're going to extend it for me because I'm in treatment, so that helps out. And I thought I could never turn my life around. In my addiction, I didn't connect with people. I don't talk to my siblings anymore. It's hard for me to reach out. I got social anxiety. But with the help from Together We Can and all the staff that they have there and all the support and all the programs that they put me in, and I mean, I fucked up a couple times, but they didn't kick me out. So I got to say, Together We Can is probably the most accepting center that I've been in, and by far has the best way of arranging their programming. When it comes to the steps, every other center tries to rush you through them really quick. I like the fact that TWC is you can do it at your own pace, and you're not going to get flack for it. That's really all I have to say. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Thank you.
Thanks.
You ready?
My name's Matt. I'm an alcoholic. I've got 7 glorious days of sobriety. Hello out there, we're on the air. It's recovery day today. The butts they fly, the snifflers cry, and shares are underway. The greeter greets, shuffles his feet, and the coffee's over there. There's a lot at stake, she takes the cake. It's a good old recovery day. I like to write.
That was great. So creative. It's awesome.
Oh, trust me, I am.
Oh, good. Okay, this will have to be our last speaker because it's 3:00. So go ahead.
How much time do I have?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'm Riley and I'm an alcoholic addict. Well, since it's mostly story orientated, I'll start at the beginning here. It all started when I started drinking at age 7 in my parents' basement, stealing the airport bottles, and progressed into more and more drinking. And I started using cocaine at age 12. And quickly, I found there was good friendship in drugs because I found a bond that we could relate, but it was all drug related, right? And yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is it kind of got me out of my social anxiety, but at a cost, at a great cost. And yeah, at around age 19, I started my recovery journey. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia at age 19. It was kind of a hit to my ego, hit my pride pretty well. But I started my mental health journey, which led into my recovery journey, which is very, very important. So since age 19, I've been in and out of psych wards, treatment programs, mental institutions, and somehow, some way, God watched over me over a lot of riffraff, I'll say. Yeah, and so I'm 27 now, staying at TWC, and you know what? I'm 35 days in, and it feels good. Yeah, it feels great. And you know what? I'm just so sick of everything that I had in the past, all the negative using buddies and payday friends and all this other crap that came with it. And honestly, I'm just embracing what's to come because I know that I'm sick of what I had and I want anything better than that. Anything is better than that. So I'm just holding on with a big helping hug and taking up all the goodness that I can. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't do it without all you guys. Honestly, this community is unreal. And Caroline, you're awesome. I mean that special. Thanks. See, she fires one right back at me. Compliments. Keeping everyone on par. And you know what? Thank you for my sobriety, and thank you for being here. And you're all beautiful people.
Okay, we got time for one more speaker.
Hi, everybody. Sheldon, grateful recovering addict. See, I started using and stuff when I was, I don't know, about 16, 17. I lost my dad, and it got dramatically worse after that. It got to a point where, I just didn't care. I didn't care what my life was going to turn out to be. I didn't care. And until I hit about 36 years old, and I hit a bottom, and I wanted to do something about it. And I got turned to TWC for the first time, and I was there for 90 days, and in those 90 days, the people at TWC really opened up their arms and their hearts, and they taught me that there is a better life, but I wasn't ready yet. I went back out right after my 90 days, and I was out again for 3 years until I hit in total desperation that I called back. Because at TWC, when you leave there, they say, if you're ever hurting, if you ever need us again, just call. We'll be there. So I reached out to one of the workers at TWC, and I got in. And there was always something missing in my recovery. And this time I got put into the All My Relations program. And along that journey, I found spirituality. I found a connection that I never had to my higher power and my culture. That was one thing that was missing in my life this whole time. And, once I found that, my life had changed dramatically. I started doing the work, and the workers, everybody there, they're willing to put their time in for me because I was putting my time in for myself. And that's the thing about TWC is, if they see that you're putting the time in, they're going to take the time to put the time in for you. And, I'm coming up on a year here in a couple months, or in less than a month. And, at the All My Relations program, they helped me build a life. I hit my 90 days and they got me into school, helped me get into school to take carpentry, my first year carpentry. They gave me a place to live. They made me house manager. And, I stayed there for 9 months because, it was a life. It was an opportunity for me to grow and to become the person I want to be. And that's where I'm at today, is the person I want to be and continue being. And I have to owe it all to TWC. So thank you all very much.
Great, Caroline.
A few more left here. Are you going to do that first?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're doing it. You're pulling it.
Oh.
All right. So we, excuse me. Thank you everybody for coming up and sharing. Sorry, I smoked way too much. Right.
Next thing to quit.
Next thing to quit.
Mm-hmm.
So Carol Ann is going to pick out 2 of these wonderful raffle tickets.
And I'm not even in here.
That's good. It's for integrity, right? Yeah.
It might look fixed, right?
Yeah.
1.
Ooh.
2.
Who's the lucky winner? It's going to be... Oh, Mike Mercer. Is he here? Is Mike still here?
I don't see him.
Yeah, I get to keep it now.
Steve S.
And Steve S. Oh! There you are. Congratulations, sir. Awesome. That's all I got.
For him? Okay.
Yeah, I'll take this to Mike
So-
at the main center.
So,
Really? We're going to recall it?
if he's
Okay,
not
so
here?
we're going to do it?
Yeah, you can. You can do whatever we want.
Yeah, we can.
We're the boss. You're not here to get your prizes. It's to lose. Christine Dillon.
Christine? Is there Christine Giles?
No?
Who's Christine?
Okay, on to the next one.
On to the next one. Is this live stream?
Stephen Hall.
I don't put my name in these.
Okay. Oakley.
Oakley. There he is. Oakley won. Yay, Oakley.
Okay, so that was awesome to hear some of my babies speak. You guys, I always say you're all my babies, and I really mean that. Love you too. And most of you know that I'm the mom at TW, but I want to bring up the other mom. Get up here.
Come on, Andrea.
Come on. It may be a men's treatment center, but we girls are there too.
Yeah, we
And
rock.
we rock.
We
We're the
rock.
moms. Upstairs mom, downstairs mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah, that's true. You got all the money. I got none of that. Yeah.
You got the love.
Yeah.
Oh, you will too.
Okay, so here's taking our picture. Come on, mama.
Oh my God.
So we still have some prizes left. So Sanaya said I can give them away to you guys. So let's get back to people in the first week of recovery. Is there anybody else that didn't come up to get a book in your first week? How about in your second week?
Come on up.
Come on up, anybody who's in their second week. Prizes. Third week? Yeah, for sure.
Doing this. Here you go. Congratulations. Keep it up.
There we go.
We're running out of cups.
Okay, we're out of cups, but we still got hats.
Yeah, sorry.
Here, you can have a hat.
That's okay.
No? Okay, 1 month. We're in your last week.
Oh, we got Braden here too.
Yay!
Oh, and Parm.
There.
Good job, Parm.
Okay, I got 2 left. So in your second month. Anybody in your second month? Come on up. Come on. Come on up, Dusty. Come on. Dusty's one of our singers. We should get you singing. Put you on the spot, eh? Okay. Anybody else in their second month? I'm going to just throw this one out into the audience. Let me wind up. Oh, well, that didn't go far.
It's there. It's there. Awesome. Yeah, we'll do this round.
So thank you, everybody, for coming. It was wonderful to see everybody here today. And our first alumni roundup, and hopefully we get to do more of this. Spread the news to everybody else. We want to build our alumni group. It's so important. Thank you to all of you who set this up. Sanaya, what's your name again? Stephen. Yeah. All you guys that started this, setting it all up. It was so beautiful. The food's amazing. The prizes, thank you so much. I'm going to pass it over to Stephen.
Awesome. Thank you, Caroline. So yeah, we just want to say thank you again for joining us. We do plan on doing this again. So there's a private Facebook alumni group as well if you're on Facebook. What is it called? I should know. Yeah, it's just TWC, yeah, alumni. Yeah, anyways, if you go to our main page under groups, you can click on it. It's right there. Hey, they don't pay me to know things. Anyways, what we're going to do for those who wish to join us is we're going to circle up and do the Serenity Prayer. And I hope, you'll all join us and do that. We'll squeeze this in here.
Here, I would hold hand. I can't with my arm. Yeah.
Stretch it out.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
You come back and work.